Namaste.
Namaste.
Paul and I have designed a series of workshops for you that we hope will enliven your life, enliven your ability to create and to use your imagination so that anything you can imagine it said can actually be brought into your life as something you manifest. Well, Paul and I are from the arts, and we utilize what we've learned in the arts in our yoga practice. I would like to start out with a quote by one of my favorite people. He's no longer with us, but his name is Joseph Campbell. You may know of him. He had the hero's journey as one of his big ideas, that all of us are going, and in fact are, on a hero's journey, learning our way through life, and then sharing it with others. Well, Joseph Campbell was a mythologist, and he studied human culture, the way humans thought and their beliefs and how they moved forward in their lives. And he had this idea. He said, I don't believe that people are really looking for the meaning of life, but rather they are looking for how to find meaning and joy and vitality in their life. They're looking for a more meaningful life. And with that in mind, this workshop is going to start out with Paul just singing a song, which he'll give you information on, that is about hope, but in a very strange way that hope comes. And then I'll be doing a little bit of a guided practice with you, very simple. You can do it on chairs or on the floor, on your couch, in your bed, I don't care. Just make it work to the level that you can. And we'll be doing pranayama, which is breathing, strengthening exercises. And then there'll be a tour through slides of Paul's garden. And we'll be looking at the purpose of gardens and the beauty of gardens and the fact that we plant seeds and we arrange our lives in a way that has meaning and beauty for us. Seeds also can represent kindness. They can have seeds of connections with other people different than ourselves. And you also need to think about pulling the weeds, getting things that are not working in your garden or are stifling the lives of your main characters in your garden. So, moving with that idea, I'd like to start by introducing Paul, and he'll introduce his song.
This song has two histories, the old history, the real history, and the modern history. And the old history starts in 1960, when my brother and I, Andrew and I, were performing as the Tracey brothers, a folk singing duo, and we were looking for an African song to sing together. Now, we were living in South Africa, where we lived, and my father, as some of you may know, was the famous African musicologist and explorer, and he had recorded a lot of African music, and one of his songs was called, the one that he'd recorded, was a Zulu song called Uttambalami. Now, Uttambalami is a word that means my hope. Utemba, hope, lami, my hope, Uttambalami. And we liked the little melody of this song, but the Zulu words really didn't say too much, and a translation wouldn't have added up to too much. And we were not fluent in Zulu anyway. So we set about putting some English words to this song. Now, I'd never written a song at all at that time, and so I was looking for some words which sounded like they might be African words. And quite by chance, on the farm was a man called Shabalala. And Shabalala was my father's foreman on the farm. And he was speaking English at the time, not good English, but it wasn't his second language. It was about his fifth language. He was a brilliant linguist, like many Africans are. And I was talking to him and listening to his poetic way of speaking. You know how English second language speakers often make charming mistakes in language, in English. And he said something to me. He said, I don't know where I can see you again, of course. That's how he said. And I thought that's curious because in our culture, we mostly say, I don't know when I can see you again. He said, where? And I liked that. And I thought, well, that's a line we should put in the song. So that was a big element for the song. And I wrote a verse, and Andrew and I sang the song. We recorded it, and to make it long enough, we put an instrumental in between the first verse, the instrumental, and then the first verse again. You know how you can cheat with just one verse. So when Susan said to me, I think Uttambalami would be a good song for this workshop, because she knew it was all about hope. Well, I knew that I was performing by myself, so I didn't have a chance to do an instrumental. So I thought, well, I better write a second verse to fill it out a little bit. And so I found another Zulu word. I only have a few Zulu words, but this one is imaliami, and that means my money, imaliami. And I wrote a second verse about imaliami. And then I sang it to Susan, and Susan said, oh, no, this is completely wrong. You can't do this, because even the first verse, now I've really heard the words, say, no, I'm losing hope, it's all going downhill, and the second verse, all about the money, it's even worse. I mean, the money is just going. It's not very encouraging at all. So she said, write another one. So, I just 2 weeks ago, I'd written the second verse, and now a week ago, I have to write a third verse. And hopefully this third verse starts out with Uttambalami, my hope. Hopefully this time it will redeem the whole idea and be okay. So sit through the first two verses, and then perhaps we'll get okay in the end. Uttambalami, Uttambalami, you are my sunshine and you are my rain. Uttambalami, Uttambalami, I don't know where I can see you again. My pound note has changed to shillings, and my shillings have melted away. Uttambalami, Uttambalami, I don't know where I can see you again. Imaliami now, Imaliami, Imaliami, you bring me pleasure and you bring me pain. Imaliami, Imaliami, I don't know where I can see you again. My pockets, my trouser pockets, inside out, it has all gone away. Imaliami, Imaliami, I don't know where I can see you again. Now for the redemption. Uttambalami, Uttambalami, you bring me hope and you bring me good luck. Uttambalami, Uttambalami, you make me joyful, you make me unstuck. My nickels have turned to dollars, and my pockets are full to the brim. Uttambalami, Uttambalami, now I know I can see you again. Now I know I can see you again.
Thank you. That was really wonderful. And especially being part of the process of how he took this beautiful melody that we both loved and the idea of luck. And yes, often you don't have luck. Often you get stuck. And so there is a process to our lives. Isn't that the way about luck? Maybe it's not luck. Maybe it's intention. Maybe it is our ability to create and to use our imagination to manifest. I have a poet from 200, 300 years ago that really inspires me, and his name is Sir Francis Bacon. And he has this idea, this poem, living in the area and the time and the culture that he did in Europe. God was considered to be the creator of all things and is still in many people's mind that way, but others have other ideas. So whatever your idea, in that time, God had said that he created people with great potential, and it was everyone's responsibility to develop that potential and to really take it seriously. So he said, begin doing what you want to do now. We are not living in eternity. You only have this moment. And this moment is sparkling like a star in our hand and melting like a snowflake. And so I don't want to waste my life, and I want to also make some changes in my life all the time that keep improving the quality. Paul and I come from the arts, and one of the things that we know is the power of creativity, the power of our ability to imagine anything. And then when we imagine it and we see it and we believe our capacity to create it, it often comes into being. So I would like to start with a little beginning to the health of your body. I'd like you to, in your chair or on the floor, place yourself either in a seated position called Sukhasana. All of those of you who are on the floor know this, cross-legged, sitting up tall, something under your seat if you are more comfortable that way. And if you are sitting in a chair or a couch or whatever you might be in, a wheelchair, you can have your hands placed on your knees. The first thing we want to do, as I mentioned, earth and grounding. We need to ground our feet. We need to press into the earth. We need to root ourselves. And that enables our stability. So taking a few moments of just tapping into our ability to connect with the earth. There's actually an electrical connection between us and the earth. It's like a light bulb. If it's plugged in and the circuits are well grounded and connected, you have a bright source of energy. And if there's weakness there, it will flicker or be dull. So we want the lights within us, like little twinkle lights, to shine as brightly as possible. So just start taking breath in, breathing, and then pausing at the end of your inhale and exhaling, pausing at the end of your exhale. Don't worry about how long the breath is, just notice it. Notice how it feels. Notice how it lifts your spine on the inhale. Notice how you can soften and connect with the earth even more on the exhale. Now take about 4 cycles of breath, inhaling, at a pause, and then exhale through your nose if possible. When we breathe in through the nose, out through the nose, it is called Ujjayi breathing, and it means victory breath, because you use more of your muscles in your lower abdomen, middle abdomen, as well as the chest and throat. Last one. And then lift tall. Now begin what we call Kundalini circles, just moving your body around in a circle easily. Only do this to the degree that it feels right. You're just stirring the pot of energy, you're warming your body, you're bringing more blood flow to the core. Stop, go the other way. You can close your eyes if you'd like. If you are sitting in a chair, you might sit a little bit closer to the edge of the chair so your legs are free and you have more movement. Now settle into the center. Lift your chest, which is your 4th chakra. and you pull your chest forward in a leaning, kind of curving, and then you pull back with your tailbone, your sacrum, and your belly button or solar plexus. So we go through the 7 chakras, starting with the middle chakra, the heart, then adding the throat, the third eye, drawing the crown, and then pulling back. So the first 3 chakras are grounding, rooting, strengthening. The middle chakra is releasing kindness, love, compassion, all the things that come from the heart. And the first top 3 chakras are more mental and spiritual. They are about the mind, they're about our voice, speaking truth, and they are about connecting with all the energy of the universe beyond our own, but having that larger plug in to our energy, sitting up tall. Okay, bringing your hands to your heart center. This position is Anjali, which means heart mudra, which means seal. We're pushing into our feet. If you're sitting on the floor, you're just grounding into your hip bones, sits bones. You're going to take 4 half sun salutations. And in doing so, I would like you to just put this idea out in your head in whatever words. I am enough. I have enough. And I will always do enough. So I am enough. I will have enough. And I will do enough. Here we go. Breathing in. Drawing the energy down into your heart center that will strengthen those ideas within you. And breathing in. And up. And gliding down. And pause. Breathing in. And up and gliding down. And pause. Breathing in. And up and gliding down. And pause. Good. Take your hands, if you're able to, take your hands and lace them. If you're not, you can hold your thumbs, you can hold your fingers like this, or you can hold your wrists. The idea is that you want to try and get some energy in the upper part of your body. Anything I ask you to do can be adapted. You figure it out because you know your body better than anyone. So going round, feeling the heart open, the back open, the lungs have stress released, and then pushing up your hands as tall as you can reach, pushing down into your feet, and holding there for 4 deep breaths, breathing in, pause, and breathing out, pause, breathing in, pause, breathing out, pause. Twice more. And the last one. Opening your arms now out to the sides. And then reaching way out to the side and over your head. So now you are tapping into another essential movement of the spine. So you want to come up and draw a rainbow over your head. Notice that my arm is straight. So if you can make your arm straight, if not, it's okay to curve it, not a problem. And coming out this way, reaching up and coming over. Then both arms out and circle your arms once, circle them twice, circle them 3 times, circle them 4 times, and hold. Good job. Shoulders, pull them up and release. This is where we carry a lot of tension. Release. Coming up and release. Coming up and release. Now, to the front and center with your shoulders. Fold yourself back and center. And forward and center and back and center. Now ease it forward, up and back and down. Forward and up, back and down. And go back, up, forward and down and back, up, forward and down. Arms out and to your shoulders. apart, and together, and apart, and together, and apart, and together, and apart. And then tilting, if it's possible, look up at your top elbow. May not be possible, but try for it. You're just wanting to lean. These are, again, warming up all parts of our rib cage, our spine, our neck. And now circling those arms, and up and around, and forward, and up and around, and forward, and up and around, and back. The same thing. Up. So we're getting our shoulder joints to release and open, and we're doing it in a way that does not carry a lot of weight like our full arms would. Drop your arms and reach up. Now just let them release and reach up. Good. And release and reach up and release and reach up and hold. Very good. Now we want to do our necks. See if you can just move your head to one side over the shoulder and then come center and side and come center and side. Center and side. Center one more time, side and center and side and center. Now tilting, yes, and come up and tilt and come up. So we're working out the kinks and the wrinkles in the side muscles that hold our head on. See if you can take your hand and just pull it to the side, keeping this shoulder down, yes, and come up and to this side. Same thing. Good. And come up. And the last one that we'll do right now is head rolls. So you roll it across your chest up, and you roll it and up. Roll it up. Roll it up. Now circle it. And stop. Now, this time, you're going to lean your body forward. And you're going to breathe in, and then you're going to go like a cat. And pick it up and breathe forward, leaning forward. Twice more. Breathing in, forward, out, and breathing in, forward, good. Now take this arm out to the side and just begin to wrap your body. And when you go to the other side, see if you could look behind you. So you're just getting your body loosened up for twisting, loosening up your back with counter energies going in different directions. Now this time, reach forward, take your arm, and then circle it and wrap. Take your arm behind you, circle it, and twist. So now you are pressing your hand against your leg and lifting up. Really lifting up. Now take your head. See if you can still move your head from side to side in this twisted position. Good. Come forward. Take this arm out. Same thing. Wrap it and out. See if you can go behind you or how far you can go behind. And out. Good. And then circle your arm behind you and wrap it and touch and circle behind you and circle and wrap. And then let's go into this lifting twist. First you lift. You only go as far as feels right, and then you start to wrap and press against your legs. And then let's see what the head is like on this side. These are the essential movements of the spine and the head and the neck and the arms and the torso. And then come forward. Good job. Both arms out, and let's circle both arms front and back. Circle them over your head, wrap your body. Circle them behind your head, lift them up, and come down. Now Circle your arms and down. Repeat. Shoulders, elbows, arms, and down. Now, one more time. And front circle, back circle, around the head, wrap. Behind the head, to the sides, and down. Shoulders, circle once. Elbows, circle. Arms, circle. And repeat. Shoulders, elbows, arms, and repeat. Very good. Now, taking your hands, clasp them, and see if you can bring them down and in front of you as if you were going inside a ball. You're exploring. So now we're adding more of the back bend and coming in, elbows wide, and coming down and up, reaching back and down. One more time, forward and in and up. Stay up this time and here. Open your arms. Bring your arms to the front. Bring them together and then swim. And take your hands behind you. Hold the thumbs or the hands in a clasp. Stretch your arms behind you. You can do this on the floor or sitting. Reach your chest up. Yes. And then tilt forward and try to see if you can get a little bit more length in your back, looking down at the floor. Pulling up again. Releasing your arms and pulling your stomach in like we did on the ha. And then we come up and we stretch our arms as if we were in the Olympics and we were doing a back dive. Coming up to the sides and hold. Good job. Shake your hands out. Shake a foot wherever you are. Just shake a foot. Shake a foot. Shake your hands up and down. And then circle and shake. And then stop shaking and just circling forward, circling up and back, circling forward and up and back, and reach up and reach down. Hands together, one last half sun salutation, up and gliding down, and pause. Paul is now going to share with you some photos of his garden and tell you a little bit about his garden and why it is such a partner to him in the way he lives and creates his life.
Well, I grew up in England, and in England, I think that most people are gardeners, whether you have a garden or not, a big garden, a small garden, or even no garden, because if you live in a flat, you can always get an allotment. And that's a little patch of land somewhere in your neighborhood, and that is where you can go and dig up your own potatoes. Now, I am very lucky because I live in a house in the Pacific Palisades in California, and I have a garden at the back, and that is where I go when I need solace. And it's an oasis in the desert of Los Angeles, and that is where I go to commune with nature, the power of nature, and it's a wonderful spot to be in. To get away from politics in particular. But the funny thing is, I have one politician I would like to quote, and this man's name was George Washington. Maybe you know about him. He said, "I am once more seated under my own vine and fig tree, and hope to spend the remainder of my days in peaceful retirement, making political pursuits yield to the more rational amusement of cultivating the earth." That's what he said. And that's what I like to do. I love to get my hands right into the soil and mix it and take out the little rocks and sticks and just enjoy the soil among my fingers. And especially the compost. I've got a compost barrel, and I love to get my hands in there and divide it up and make it look beautiful. That's what I like to do. So I'd like to share some photographs from my garden, and you'll have some idea of the pleasure and the joy that I get from being a gardener. For me, everything starts here. I like to grow most of my plants from seeds. This is my greenhouse, which I dedicated to the life of my mother, Ursula, who was a professional market gardener and who had the greenest thumb you could ever imagine. It's not your regular greenhouse because the roof, you can see, is only 1/3 glass. If it were all glass, it would be too hot in there. So it's 2/3 shed and 1/3 greenhouse. It does the job just fine. You notice that I put little name tags on everything. I cut up 1-gallon milk cartons for little labels, writing with a Sharpie. I'm bound to forget what's growing where. I saw this quote, which is great for people like me. If you are a beginner, try not to be worried about the name problem. You will never know all the names. Nobody does. At least if there are such people, they don't have time to garden. That was written by Geoffrey Charlesworth. So let me take you on just a little trip around my small garden. Roses. How can you not have roses, our national flower? I made sure when I chose these roses that they all had good scent, not like the ones you see so often in the market, which don't smell at all. Sunflowers come in so many different rich colors. Giant ones, so tall you can't even see the flower from down here until they get heavy enough to lean over. And on the right, that's my favorite teddy bear variety. And skinny ones that think outside the box. Poppies have a suspect reputation in certain areas. I wondered about the seeds when I harvested this one the other day. I like poppy seeds on my bagels. Do you think these are safe to eat? The evening sun caught this clivia just right a few days ago. The clivia plant is native to South Africa, a bit like me, in fact. That's where I'm from. It might look like I have a lot of flowers in my garden, but most of these pictures capture the one example I have of several different species. Here's cosmos growing in a window box, the only cosmos I have, and just one unknown red lily and one pot of lavender. I haven't had success with lavender. I'll be lucky if it survives until next year. Hydrangea. What magnificent flowers they have. Jasmine. Before and a couple of days later, when they all came out at once. Marigolds, looking like they're smiling in their bowl. They're considered second only to roses as our national flower. Nasturtiums. My friend Jamil came over with some seeds 40 years ago and spread them around my garden, and I've never not had nasturtiums ever since. They're classic self-seeders. Here's a patch under my golden wonder tree. This is a cousin of the tobacco plant, Nicotiana, from the word nicotine, of course. It has a lovely, delicate aroma in the evenings, not like secondhand smoke. Some people think of gardens only in terms of flowers, but for others, it's all about vegetables. How do you like this flower? Not bad for a vegetable. What about the one on the right? No, that is a flower. A yellow hibiscus. Doesn't it look similar to the flower of the crookneck squash? You know what they say, to get the best results, you must talk to your vegetables. That's not what they say. That's what Prince Charles said, the Prince of Wales. This squash plant, with its crookneck fruit coming along, looks very much like a zucchini. And this is what Dave Barry said about zucchinis.
The trouble is, you cannot grow just one zucchini. Minutes after you plant a single seed, hundreds of zucchini will barge out of the ground and stroll around the garden, menacing the other vegetables. At night you'll be able to hear the ground quake as more and more zucchinis erupt. I believe him. Zinnias come in many colors. I've got some growing here in a jungle in a raised bed. I love this particular zinnia, this design. I just find it just charming. And they make excellent cut flowers that last a surprisingly long time. I'll show you more of my garden beauties another time, but now Susan will lead us through your own imaginary garden.
Thank you, Paul. Of course, I am one of the lucky ones. I get to enjoy his garden as well and to not have to do the work. I'm not a gardener myself, but I like to have gardeners in my life. That, I think, is a very important thing. However, we can all create an imaginary garden, and that's what this next part is. But before, as an entrance into this creation, I want to do a breathing exercise with you. In yoga, it's called prana, means breath. Pranayama is your life force. If you think about it, if we stop breathing, we are not in our bodies any longer. And so breath is something we want to keep as strong as possible. It's tied in very intimately with the circulatory as well as the respiratory system. So think, when we breathe, of all the plants, all the trees outside your house have been manufacturing on a very ongoing level organic oxygen for you. And so it's really important that we try and absorb as much of that oxygen and then release our toxins, which are actually a gift to the growing things. So they take that carbon dioxide and they create this whole metamorphosis with it. All right, so get comfortable. If you would like, you could actually lay down for this section. I want you to be really comfortable, or maybe you would rather do the breathing sitting up and then the guided meditation laying down. It's your choice. So put your hands down flat on your thighs, sitting, lying, or on the ground. And close your eyes and begin to just go back to how I began, with breathing in through your nose and then exhaling through your nose, which most people do not realize that they should be doing. So often people breathe out through their mouths. It is not the most effective nor the most healthy thing for your body. So as you get that going, we're going to do a meditation in which you breathe in or inhale for 4 counts, which I'll count. Hold it. This is like strength and endurance of your lungs, to hold it full of breath for 4 counts. Then exhale through your nose for 4 counts and hold the emptiness for 4 counts. And we'll do this 8 cycles. So get comfortable, get focused. You might want to do this with your eyes closed, but if you prefer, you can keep your eyes open. Try and focus on a particular point, however. Get ready. And inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, and pause. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, and pause. 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale. 2, 3, 4, and hold the breath. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale. 2, 3, 4, and pause. 2, 3, 4, and hold. Exhale. 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and pause. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, and pause. 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. And inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3. Last round. And inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. And open your eyes and take what we call recovery breaths. Just breathe any way you need to. You might like to just bend over for a moment, catch your breath. You know, the artist Claude Monet, who's very famous for his lily pads and for his trees that he painted at different seasons, said that my garden is my most beautiful masterpiece. And that's what you're going to be encouraged and invited to create right now, is your own garden. So close your eyes, get very, very comfortable, and as you breathe in deeply, imagine that you are walking down a path of any sort, and you see a gate or a door. Maybe it's a stone wall, and you walk through onto a path that leads you into the entrance of your own secret garden. You may have even forgotten that it was there. It materializes like a dream coming into reality. You begin to look around you, seeing colors, plants, trees, textures, flowers, maybe things that you remembered from your childhood. You walk slowly through the paths of your garden, taking time to really be present. Really observe. Allow all of your senses to open up. You observe a special flower that's blooming. Maybe you kneel or sit or stand comfortably near a beautiful spot in your garden, and you just feel a connection. You feel this is your garden and it's your creation. You notice the shape, the texture, the color of each flower. Perhaps you smell its fragrance. Maybe there's a bee or a hummingbird hovering to suck out some of its pollen, its sweetness. Perhaps you hear the song of a bird. You continue through your garden, exploring, seeing both the edges and the distance and the height of your garden, as well as the nearness and the closeness as you focus in. In your garden, there are no weeds to pull. That has been done. Everything in your garden is as you have arranged it to be. Perhaps you have a bench, a hammock, a rocker, or a cushion to sit or rest upon. And as you sit or lie comfortably, you begin to feel a deep connection between your true self and all of the natural world. And you take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. A gentle breeze brushes across your skin. The sun is warm and healing. The temperature is just right. You breathe deeply and you begin to feel more relaxed and calm than you have in a long time. In this secret garden of your own design, there is nothing to disturb your mood. In fact, you find yourself breathing easier and feeling more hopeful about life. With each breath you take, you move from anxiety to a sense of wonder. Feeling connected to the natural world with its cycles and seeds of possibilities. Maybe you plant some new seeds, seeds of kindness, love, friends. Everything in your garden goes through the life cycle, and everything is in different stages within that cycle. Everything has ancestors who made it possible for things to perpetuate. Everything is born from a seed or an egg. Everything has a purpose that can be hopeful and can be fulfilled. You begin to see that your life is filled with possibilities and hope. You take a big breath in and you sigh. You release sadness and fear, or just numbness, or being bored. You begin to feel that idea of you only have this moment. In your garden, you create a source of water. Perhaps it's a bubbling river, a waterfall, a small pool, a rainforest. It can be anything. You create it. The sounds in your garden are comforting. The sounds are relaxing. You feel tucked in to a womb of comfort, love, nourishment, and safety. All is well in your garden. Finally, you create a tree. You may have created some trees already, but this is a special tree. A tree of your own choice, a tree of your own design, a favorite tree. Imagine yourself as this tree. Imagine that you are the tree with roots spreading down into the ground. Feel your roots being nourished and being hydrated and feeling a sense of adventure and connection. Your roots are strong, they're stable. No matter what happens above the ground, your tree can endure any storm. Spread out your branches and also place some buds, some blooms, some blossoms on the branches, leaves or needles. Make them colors of your choice. This is an imaginary garden, so your tree can be any color you wish. Spread out your branches and make sure that the blooms are in different stages. Now let your spirit float around and through your tree and see it clearly, fully, from all perspectives. Notice that some of the flowers are just buds. Some are beginning to open and others are fully in blossom. Float over to one of the flowers that's fully open and look inside to see which of your talents or gifts that you are using fully or that you've developed. What trait or quality have you allowed to blossom within yourself during this life? Now acknowledge that gift and then move on to another full blossom. What do you see within? What gift are you realizing? Acknowledge it. Have gratitude for it. Breathe in deeply and feel the fulfillment in using these gifts and the joy and satisfaction it brings to you. Now travel over to a bud that is just beginning to blossom, to open up. What do you see within its petals? What within you is ready to be realized, ready to bloom, but something has prevented it from fully opening? It needs a little more encouragement. Can you allow this blossom, the one that you're looking at, to fully open? Can you accept its gift? Can you allow it to empower you, to fulfill you? Now float over to the tightly bound buds on your tree. Select one to study. What is within this tight bud that you could realize, that you could allow to blossom with a little more courage maybe, a little more intention? What's its potential? Are you willing to give it permission and energy to open and be seen? Realized? Finally, what are you willing to let go of? What blossoms are ready to be released to the ground? What have you finished with? What has had its moment and is now over? Release them. Let the winds of time blow these blossoms away. Clear your space and your mind of the past and the clutter of holding on to things that are no longer useful. So, even though you are the tree, sit in your tree and feel your power. Be in the tree, be the tree. And deeply breathe with a deepened sense of understanding of who you truly are, of acceptance for who you truly are, and compassion. Compassion. You've always done your best under the circumstances of your life. You have dreams, you have disappointments. Release the disappointments. Forgive yourself or others. And instead concentrate on your potential to grow and to bring comfort to your life and to bring beauty and inspiration and continue to flower. Take a few deeper breaths. You always have this garden to return to. But now it's time to leave your secret garden. So with a last glance, you walk along the path back to your gate or entrance. And you return to where you are right now in your own house, or perhaps another's house. And you remember your secret garden. A garden is always a series of losses set against a few triumphs. Life is like that as well. It has its triumphs and its losses. But let's create new triumphs. Your life is the fruit of your own creation. So slowly, when you're ready, open your eyes and just take a few moments to absorb the experience that you've just had. And I'd like you to write about what you've had, what you've experienced, ideas. So if you have a journal or a piece of paper, and if you don't, that's okay. Just write it in your mind. You'll remember it. So here's the first. What images, emotions, or memories come to your mind or came to your mind? Write down what you felt, what you saw, what you experienced. Write down words that describe how you're feeling right now. Did you have any insights? What are things you would like to have in your own nurturing garden? Your secret retreat, your secret oasis, solace. It's just for you. You can bring animals into your garden. You can even share it with a very trusted friend, but mainly it is your secret garden for you to plan, think, restore, imagine, and perhaps create new parts too. So write down your thoughts. And now, Paul is going to explain to you a little bit about the singing bowls, and that will lead us into the final part of this workshop, which is our sound bath. So, Paul.
Singing bowls. Singing bowls have been around for thousands of years. They still exist. They're found in many places, but they started probably in Asia, and they looked, this is a small one, and they get really large ones. And they're made of bronze or copper or brass. But today, we've moved to glass singing bowls. This is a recent invention, really. And they come in many different shapes and sizes. Some of them are clear glass, you can see right through it. Some are multicolored, and some like this have got particular colors for different notes. Now I've got a scale here. It's the scale of C major, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. And the 8th note is the octave, so we don't have that one. It's duplicated, really. Now these are called frosted quartz singing bowls because the outside is a little bit frosted, and that helps with the playing of them. You can play them in 2 different ways, with a rubber mallet, or what really makes it fun is the singing part, when you stroke it. And you encourage it to sing. That's why it's called the singing bowl. Of course, you could also tap it with the wooden part. That's a different tone. The bass one here, the C, is designed to associate with the chakras. And the first chakra, the root chakra, which is for grounding and physical needs and passion. And that has certain vibrations which yogis have always felt have got healing powers. There are healing powers in vibrations. And in fact, you can choose any vibration, one which suits you, and you can decide where it's going to heal your own body. That's my feeling. But this one is associated with your physical needs, your passion, your anger, and the root chakra. The second one, the orange one, the sacral chakra, for joy, vitality, creativity, and sexuality. The Third one, the solar plexus chakra, vitality, power, and self-confidence. The heart, interesting that it's green and not red, but they've chosen green for the heart, for love, peace, and compassion. That's the heart chakra. The fifth one, the throat chakra, light blue colored, communication, being true to oneself. This one, indigo, intuition, understanding. That's the third eye chakra. And the seventh one, I have to turn it so I can see my information. Crown! Of course, it's the crown chakra. Violet color. I can't tell it's violet because I'm colorblind, but I've got it here written down. That's for peace and oneness. And those are the notes that work together with the chakras and the vibrations that'll just heal so many parts of your body.
And adding on to the chakras, I'd like to just emphasize them for you by giving you a 7 chakra undulation, or not an undulation so much as just an awareness of where those chakras are. As Paul said, the first 3 are grounding, and they deal with your legs and your intestines and your system of digestion. And then there's the heart chakra right in the very middle. And that's the balancer, and where our heart and our kindness and our compassion emanate from. And then the 3 upper are dealing with mental and spiritual aspects. The throat for speaking your truth, grounded by the heart, and the third eye guiding the wisdom of what you say and do. And then finally, as Paul said, the crown chakra. So we're going to do a breathing exercise that really works the spine. And with breath, we're just going to take a breath in, pause, a breath out, pause. 1 in each chakra, ending in gratitude. Let me remind you what they are. The first one, you place your hands down on your thighs. So this is for the root chakra. You take your hands and you place them up on your thighs for the sacral chakra. Then you take your left hand, cover it with the right, and pull inward on your solar plexus. This is where all your emotions are actually felt and stored, sometimes for too long. Heart chakra, you reach upward, lifting weight off the heart, all the way up, looking up if you can. Taking a breath in on the way up, pause, and then from there, you open and you lift your chin a little bit more so your throat is exposed. Throat chakra. Take your hands, put your thumb and forefinger together, Jnana Mudra, unity, and you pull inward to your rib cage and lift up. And this is all about introspection and wisdom. Then you spread your wings, spread your arms, pressing down, pushing down with your feet, lifting up at the crown of your head. For your crown chakra, which goes beyond your own body and connects with energy outside yourself. And then finally, we come to Anjali Mudra, or heart chakra. Okay, here we go. 1 breath in each. Paul will play the corresponding sound. Get ready. Root chakra, and breathing in. Pause. Breathing out through your nose. Pause. Turn your hands, sacral chakra, breathing in. Pause. Exhaling through your nose. Pause. Solar plexus, breathing in. Pause. Exhaling. Pause. Heart chakra in as you rise up. Pause. Breathing out. Pause. Open the arms, lift the chest and chin, throat in and out. Fingers together, Jnana Mudra. Wisdom, third eye chakra, lifting up and thinking inward and out. And crown chakra, spreading out, pressing down with your feet as you breathe in, pause, and exhaling, pause. Bring your palms to Anjali Mudra and just take a moment for reflection of how this impacts your spine. And now we're getting ready for the sound meditation. This will be about 10 minutes. Find a place that's really comfortable if you haven't already, and just get yourself so you can fully let go, fully relax, clear your mind, and allow the sounds to impact and have a healing effect on your body. Sound bath. Ah, how absolutely wonderful. I hope that you really felt relaxed and went to a deeper state of being. And in doing so, sometimes, as you are easing yourself up and getting yourself back to a kind of more a normal state, but a renewed normal state, sometimes you will feel that you've had a little journey that you've taken. Sometimes you will have gone to sleep, and that's okay too. Sometimes you will feel an emotion or more than one emotion, and it may cause tears, maybe not. And sometimes you will have a new understanding of something, like an aha moment or an enlightened moment. And sometimes it was just a good experience, and you don't have to have any sensational outcome. But I would like you to get your journals, okay? Get your journals and a pen, and I have some writing prompts for you, just a few. First of all, what words, feelings came to mind? And if it was nothing, that's fine too. Anything is fine. There's no judgment. We're just processing and seeing if we can mine the kind of jewels of our experience. And sometimes those turn out to be coal, and we have to look at them a little more deeper or put them under the ground a little bit longer for them to become diamonds. And sometimes something interesting appears. It doesn't have to be any or all of those things, but maybe a kind of new awakening, maybe a new thought, maybe a comfort, whatever it is. Write it down. Just use any kind of shorthand, words, adjectives, a memory, a dream. Maybe it was just the sensation, as Paul mentioned earlier, of those vibrations. And maybe you felt them in a particular part of your body. You can expand on these later. I know that I do shift poetry, and I also do other forms of writing. And I often have my idea sheets, and then I take an idea and I expand upon it and work it out until I finally kind of come to an aha or a moment where it feels more complete. All right, I'll give you a couple of minutes for that. And now we've come to the conclusion of our workshop, and we have one more song that Paul will tell you about. Paul.
This is a lullaby, probably most suitable for this moment. And it's a lullaby that I wrote many years ago now, when my son Devon was just 2 years old. Now, I named my children regular names, like my daughter was Sarah, but then I gave them both middle names, which were African names. And Sarah's middle name is Moyo, which means heart, or if you're being poetic, best beloved. So she's Princess Best Beloved. Sarah means princess, of course. Princess Best Beloved. And Devon was named after the county in England, that's Devonshire, where my father grew up. And in Africa, his African name is Kunjani. And Kunjani is a Zulu word that means, how are you? And when I went out to Africa and told the members of my father's staff on the farm there, the African staff, that I'd named my children with African names, they were so tickled they couldn't believe it. So, Devon Kunjani, and this is a lullaby which mentions his name, Devon Kunjan. And the third word you need to know is Umfaan. Devon Kunjan. Umfaan is a young man. And the lullaby actually says, Lala Ghastly. Lala means sleep, ghastly means well. And when you say ghastly, you have to loosen up the side of your mouth here. Let that sound come out like that. Lala Ghastly. It's a little bit like the Welsh double L. Lala Ghastly. So Lala Ghastly and fun, sleep well, young man.
And I'm going to be doing some movements, very simple movements, to this lullaby, and I encourage you to just try them with me. It's called mirroring, and if you don't like my movements, make up your own, but enjoy the music and let it express itself through your movement.
La la ghastly, la la ghastly, la la ghastly, fun. La la ghastly, la la ghastly, sleep well, Devon. Hush, hear the dew as it falls, seeds growing up through the night. Listen to streams bubbling over the moors and know that the world is all right. La la ghastly, la la ghastly, la la ghastly, fun. La la ghastly, la la ghastly, sleep well, Devon Kunjan. Shooting stars fall, clouds drifting over the moon. All the night long, daytime's asleep, and you'll be asleep very soon. La la ghastly, la la ghastly, la la ghastly. Fun. La la ghastly, la la ghastly, sleep well, my little son. And when I first recorded that song, at the very end I said, good night, and Devon, who was 2, said, good night.
And that's the only way that I can know what it sounded like for Devon to say good night when he was 2.
Right.
Because he didn't come into my life until later. So it's a very precious moment for me as well. Well, thank you very much for trusting us, for coming, for joining us in this little experience that we planned for you. And we'd like to end with 2 very important words that are used in yoga. One is Shanti, and this is from Sanskrit, the ancient language. It is, Shanti means peace. So Shanti, when we say it, it means I have peace within me and I bring peace to my community and to you and to others around the world. Peace. It's energy. So Shanti.
Shanti.
And then the next one is Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste is a beautiful concept. It is the idea that from the light within me, I see, recognize, and honor the light within you. So, Namaste.
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 Namaste to you.